Matt Walsh takes another stab at the vegan conversation, and my God, is it bad.
Man was made in the image of God and given dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth. But if that's true, then it's all the more reason why we have the moral right to eat animals.
The first claim he clips as an intro is that, seemingly, because it's in the Bible and it says that God gave us these animals to eat, it's therefore morally permissible. But do I really need to sit here and explain to you that just because something is in the Bible doesn't make it morally permissible? And you would hope people like Matt wouldn't actually agree to all the absurdities that would lead to. And let's just move on from that one and see what else he says.
Even the vegans are now willing to admit that they lost the battle. Veganism failed. Nobody wants to be vegan. Nobody likes vegans. Why is that? Henry Mance of the Financial Times shares his theory of the case. And if you were expecting even an ounce of self-awareness or serious self-reflection here, well, then you apparently don't know vegans.
Self-reflection and awareness. Matt Walsh saying this is absolutely hilarious.
Quote, governments never intervened to help plant-based diets. Well, that really gives the game away, doesn't it? Vegans knew that they could never entice us to drink liquefied nut juice when real milk is readily available. They knew that we would never be tempted to eat pink plant slime instead of actual ground beef, so they hoped that governments would intervene and just jam their vegan sludge down our throats at gunpoint, which tells you everything you need to know.
He mentions that one of the articles he's looking at talks about how the government didn't really intervene with plant-based foods, like so subsidizing them, for example. He kind of says it like it would be a bad thing. Oh yeah, they'd have to force it on us. They'd have to shove it down our throats. But by that logic, Matt, the dairy industry is so heavily subsidized. They fully oversupply. By his logic, dairy is forced on everyone because they put it into things like crisps or chips, things that have nothing to do, not cheese flavored, not dairy, anything like that. It's just put in there. He must know how heavily animal agriculture is subsidized. So if he has a problem with government intervention, then why isn't he crying about the animal agriculture industry? Clown behavior. I have a feeling the hat's only gonna get bigger.
Consuming a vegan meal is a fate worse than death for most of us. So even if the governments of the world had, as the vegans hoped, rounded us up and put us into vegan concentration camps and served us a diet of cashew milk and vegan sausages, it still would not have been enough to convince any of us to actually eat it.
Consuming a vegan meal is a fate worse than death. This man is so dramatic. This genius would rather die than eat a baked potato with beans, or rice and peas, or dairy-free pasta, or hell, a portion of chips after a long night working.
We would all rather starve than put that poison into our mouths.
He calls it poison, and I don't know if he's just being a drama queen again. But yeah, if you really think this food is poisonous, then please substantiate that with evidence. Wait, you won't.
You know, we do not believe that it's possible for a vegan alternative to ever taste like anything but steaming hot garbage. And with every new vegan alternative on the market, our lack of faith is further justified because in reality, there are two key reasons why the vegans lost.
He talks about people worrying that vegan food tastes like garbage. And with each and every one that comes out, it just seems to be more so the case. I'd love to know if he can actually name 3 brands that he's tried. But calm down, Matt. Nobody's forcing you to eat burgers. Many vegans are whole food plant-based. It's not like you have to join the vegan club and suddenly you're forced to eat plant-based burgers. And it's absolutely astounding. He talks about vegan concentration camps when so many of the animals who probably end up as Matt's meal were sent to literal gas chambers. Are you good, bro?
And the first and biggest reason is simply this. Your food tastes like crap. Your food doesn't even taste like food. It tastes like you're eating random household objects. Vegan cheese is like eating a candle. Tofu is like you ordered something fragile on Amazon and then ate the styrofoam packaging that it came in. Vegan bacon is like if you then ate the cardboard box.
Oh, vegan food tastes like cardboard. This is just level -3 rhetoric. Complaining about tofu tasting like nothing. Like, that's really weird because it's a really popular food in some cultures. Weird for it to be a popular food if it just tastes like shit. This just screams of a man who is still a baby and needs his wife to cook for him, because to him, the word seasoning just refers to a change in weather. Herb? Is that a word to describe an action?
The other problem is philosophical. And the philosophical problem is that veganism is morally incoherent. You know, I won't even get into the fact that if you think meat is murder, it makes no sense to sell food that's supposed to look and taste like murder. Like, if I wanted to make the point that cannibalism is bad, I wouldn't sell food that's made to look and taste like human flesh. Cannibalism is bad, so try our new human thighs. You'll never believe that you're not consuming an actual human limb.
Morally incoherent. If you're opposed to meat and think it's murder, then it doesn't make sense to make plant-based meats. Oh my god, the clown hat is just getting larger with every second that passes. It doesn't make sense to be anti-gun crime while playing video games, like first-person shooters. I guess you can't be against arson and light candles. All these people who drive in driving simulators and drive really fast for fun, they can't be against reckless driving. That's morally incoherent. If you're morally opposed to alcohol, it's really morally incoherent to drink a mocktail. Oh my god, why does this vegan have a toy pig if they're morally opposed to putting pigs in gas chambers? Maybe it's contextual, you butthead? Clown behavior.
They say that we are animals ourselves, no better than any other animals in the animal kingdom, but animals in the animal kingdom eat each other.
He seems to be saying vegans make claims about us being the same as other animals. I'm inclined to believe he is strawmanning. What he's probably heard vegans say is that we are also animals. That is to make a connection to the fact that we experience the world in a way an animal would, in the sense that we're experiencing and are a subject, i.e. sentient, as opposed to something like a plant. But no, vegans don't tend to take some sort of position that we ought behave as wild animals do. Otherwise, we'd be 4 people killing infants of mating competition, because that's what bears do, for example. I don't think vegans deny it being a good thing that we implement morality and, we use certain frameworks in order to enforce that, like law. He just doesn't seem to understand what veganism is.
We cannot survive on that kind of diet. I mean, if you just eat grass, you'll die. If you just eat leaves, you'll die. If you just eat vegetables, you will die. Biologically, human beings are omnivores. So animals that need to eat meat, as we do, eat meat.
On an anecdotal level, I've been vegan 11 years, so I have not had the flesh of an animal. So if I really required it, wouldn't I just be dead? But it's really weird for the consensus to be that a plant-based diet is suitable for all stages of life if we biologically require the flesh of animals. I.e., we require oxygen. If we don't get it, we die. Clown behavior!
This is the way of life. It's how nature works. And if we are but animals ourselves, shouldn't we be a part of this natural process? Isn't that the most organic thing we can do?
Should we be part of nature, he asks. You know that's not what vegans actually think. You know that's not what vegans want. You think vegans just want to destroy all hospitals and just let people die of cancer and sepsis and anthrax? You think vegans want people to be like bears and go around killing infants? I think you know that's not what vegans are asking for.
If we're not superior to animals, how can we be held to a higher moral standard? It makes no sense. Veganism claims that we're superior and not superior at the very same time. We shouldn't eat animals because we are animals just like any other animals, but also we shouldn't eat animals because we are not animals just like any other animal. Which is it? Well, vegans ultimately answer the question the same way that the rest of us do. I mean, that's really what they believe, even if they don't want to say it out loud.
He then says, vegans, they won't admit it, but they think humans are more superior. He seems to think that that's some debunk of veganism, when no. It doesn't entail any sort of hierarchy or position for you to value non-human animals as well as humans. You could value humans more, you could value non-human animals more. Like I value my close friends and my loved ones more than I do a stranger. That doesn't suddenly call for me to exploit those who I don't know. He then ends it with what he clipped at the start, which was a biblical justification. But again, we don't want to consistently appeal to the Bible. Otherwise, we would have a world that someone like Matt Walsh probably would prefer. So I hope you enjoyed this segment of Matt Walsh doesn't understand very much. Yeah, no, he's a total clown. Yeah, we'll try not to cover him, but if he says nonsense again, I'm gonna have to. Ian and I would like to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, salads! We will see you soon.